Could you explain in maybe 4 or 5 sentences what the film is about?
Yes. In fact, during the Second World War, the German army entered Luxembourg, confiscated the country, and they did one mistake after 2 years. They decided to take the young Luxembourgians, as they would need ammunition for the Russian front, and so the young Luxembourgians died a lot. And so when the mothers realized that this was happening, and if they had other children, they decided that they would hide these children. And so they were hiding these children in mines during 1 year, 2 years, where they would live in very difficult, precarious situations. The problem was that the German army would take the parents then, and they would send them to the concentration camp. Mm-hmm. So for the youngsters, being 20 years old, it was a very difficult situation. Should I go to the Russian front and die after having shot my allies, mm-hmm. or should I hide and rot away in the mines, knowing that my parents are sent to the concentration camp?
So the press has been picking up quite well on this movie since the release.
That's true.
In the production, at what point did you know that this was going to be something bigger than just simply a film produced in Luxembourg?
What was difficult at the beginning was to be sure that we would get the right set, because for security reasons it was quite difficult to shoot within the mines. Finally, we got authorization to go in the part of the mines where it all happened. And when I saw that for the first time, when suddenly this huge door was opening, which didn't open since 1945, then I had the impression that we would have the possibility to do a different movie from a lot of other movies, yes.
What drew you to the project initially?
For several reasons. My personal family background. So when I discussed with my mother, she told me a terrible story which happened to her when she was in school. She was living in this part of France. My mother was coming from France, my father from Luxembourg. The German army entered the village, and the teacher was sent to the concentration camp. And he was replaced by a German one, and this man entered the classroom with the portrait of Adolf Hitler, and he put it on the wall. And there was this Jewish little girl in the class. He took the little girl and he threw her in the air against the ceiling, and she fell down in front of the feet of my mother, and her neck was broken and she was dead. Mm-hmm. And so my mother was very, very shocked, and she ran home in tears, and she said to my grandfather, I was there, she died and didn't do anything. And my grandfather apparently answered, yes, you did the right thing.
The pressure now that you have with the success that this film is starting to get back globally, aside from the Oscar nominations, there's been interest from the States, yes. Interest from Asia. Is there now pressure on you, pressure on Iris, pressure on Luxembourg film industry itself to deliver consistently high quality material?
I mean, if we go further with the Oscar nomination, this will certainly make sure that my next movie will need to have a very high level. Now, this would be tremendous success for Refractaire, but also for Luxembourg and for the whole country. So this would be the next step for me. The new challenge we will have to face in animation, but also in live action, is the use of the new technologies. I'm speaking here about the 3D, and yes. So I'm waiting. I'm dying to see what James Cameron has done with Avatar.
Not long left. Okay. The last question I want to ask is: how much of the success of Refractaire can be contributed to the story, and how much to the production?
That's a very difficult question. You know that there are 3 things which are very, very important in doing a good film. It's the story, and the story. On the other hand, I think we have an excellent production value here, because all the people who worked in the crew, despite the fact that it was a very small budget, as it is a Luxembourgian movie, I had really a dream team. I had the best. In all head of departments, they were excellent, and the actors were very generous. So I think if there is some success, I certainly will share it with all of them.